today we're halfway through. We're halfway through this retreat right about now, and 500 days ago. This is interesting. It's just coincidental. But 500 days ago, I made a commitment to sit for 1,000 days, and so I'm halfway through that as well. Mm-hmm. And that was January of 2018. Yes, 2018. So that's somewhat auspicious on a personal level for me, that everything is in midpoint of those two things anyway. I sit in the morning pretty regularly. Not pretty regularly. It's I've sat for 500 days, and sometimes the circumstances are pretty odd. You know, with traveling, or being in a motel, or having no place particular to sit. But I've maintained this practice straight on through, and it's been extraordinarily helpful for me. It's made a big shift in how I practice and how deeply I practice. And it was poignant when I came here this time. It was really obvious that my sitting had improved quite a lot, and my concentration was improved quite a lot. I have an altar at home. It's not very simple, but there are two little signs that I put on the altar as soon as I got to Macon. And one of them, the one on the top, says, "It's not what you think. What is it?" And then the one on the bottom says, "Always only this." And always only this has been a mantra for me for quite a while. It brings me back. It can bring me back, if I'm not too far gone, into my thinking. I just have to remind myself that regardless of what I think, what's going on is this. And almost always, it's okay. What's going on right now is just fine. I mean, you know, if I get up in my head about things, then I have a tendency to bring on a lot of negativity and a lot of anxiety and so forth about what's coming or what has been, reflecting and projecting. So always only this is my mantra these days. It goes against my nature to, I love people, I love a lot, and I don't ever want to hurt people. So this thing about always only this is extremely important to me. And I think it's pretty important anyway. It's a way I can hold myself in the present, or try to hold myself in the present. And so that, in a way, is the food for my practice. I have plenty to nourish me, plenty, in this process. But I'm extraordinarily grateful to have discovered Zen, Buddhism, in this practice. The other morning, there was a millipede in my sink. And I went to the sink to turn on the water. I looked down at this thing, and it had just like fur all around it. They were all legs. And I reached down to help him get out of the sink, and he was operating all of those legs, every single one. Well, you know, that's pretty extraordinary. But the closer I think I focus down on things, the more I realize that every single piece of this creation is exactly like that. It's beyond preference. it's beyond any sort of judgment about anything. It's like, oh, it's just a bug. Just give him 4 legs. No. It's a millipede. It's 1,000 legs. You know, it makes no difference. It's just a bug. We think of it as just a bug. But it's all going on like that. Totally connected and totally amazing. Well, for me, what has been so helpful, because the container that I have for containing my emotions, well, not that I want to necessarily always contain my emotions, I don't, but the container is defined by my awareness. If I can be there in that moment when things begin to accelerate and go towards an uncontrollable emotion like rage, if I can be there and allow a little space to come into the thing, a little bit of space, then I kind of got the ups on it. That's what mostly I express my emotions. I feel my feelings. I have always been a very feeling kind of person. I think most people are, I guess, but I don't know. But I have always been, you know. I don't deny my emotions. But the rage is hurtful, and I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't. I could go up into an anxiety place like that. Well, but then irrational is how these things are. They're not connected to the present. They're connected to when my mother said, "Go pick a switch," and I hadn't done anything wrong. They're connected to my brother throwing a fit. They're connected to horrible things that have gone on in my life. I say horrible things, this isn't judgment, but all of these things go on for all of us. And for me, I've developed a database. I don't know where else I would have gotten this database, completely from my experiences, from the time I became a depository for these bits of information. And every single piece of them I believe to be exactly true. Every single piece of it. Bored with the present moment. Oh my. Well, how could one get bored with the present moment? You don't have time, first of all. You're present. No, it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling. It's extraordinary to me. But then, that's probably not a fair question. I don't get bored anyway. I don't get bored, but I wouldn't imagine that people could get bored with the present. Beautiful things bring you to the moment. Don't you see? Beautiful things. Like looking at that orchid. You look at that orchid, you're like, nah, that's not a flower, man. How did that happen? I mean, it's so extraordinary. Imagine trying to design something like that. You know, just looking at this thing that's existing here. And sounds and things. The senses in the affirming faith in mind says, don't reject the sense domain, for as it is, whole and complete, the sense world is enlightenment. So when I can just involve my senses and nothing else, then I'm right there with that, you know. And none of the anxiety or the None of the thoughts and the data of the experiences or the past or the anxiety about how any of that stuff is not there. It's not there. I have to conjure it. We all have to conjure those things. Our senses bring us present. My senses bring me present, and my mind sets me apart. I don't mean my big mind, I mean my teeny little mind sets me apart from everything if I allow it. And it's awareness and mindfulness that keeps that at bay. But the daily practice now is, of course, I think the daily practice is a really strong element. And I'm so glad that I have persevered with this commitment. And I'm halfway there now. But then I'll re-up, I do believe. I'll re-up. I don't know why not. It's quite a beneficial thing. It really is. And thank you so much for listening, or at least pretending to.